Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Farrah. Welcome back, and today we have a pretty exciting event going on. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles joining the Raid World. So today it was kind of just dropped on us. There was like some leaks or hints or whatever beforehand that it would be this, but there was really no announcement other than today. And a fusion is starting today. Chase is starting today. So pretty wild to log into this. The artwork looks fantastic. We'll take a look at a little bit of that too while we're in here. But yeah, we'll start with Michelangelo here. He is the free login champion we're getting this time. So we can view him real quick. He has accuracy in all battles. This is the first time I've seen this skill in this game. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but it would be very interesting if Plarium is looking at a evasion meta. This has been big in Epic 7 for a long time, evasion. So I would assume that evasion in this game would be the champion completely misses, or maybe they take a weak hit still. But I would guess they just miss, so cool there. And then if he's under a taunt buff, the chance to evade increases to 30%. Whenever any of the other turtles attack, this champion joins in on that attack. And then the active effect, which is up every turn here, gets a shield buff equal to 300% of this champion's attack on this champion for one turn when they receive a hit. The skill here, it's an AoE with decrease attack and leech, ignores target's resistance if the attack is critical by 25%, and then he places a taunt buff on himself. So, very interesting to see an attack type champion with a taunt buff. He would be the first of his kind. I'm wondering if they're trying to redefine taunt, like maybe they're going to change the effect of it or play with taunt a little bit. The only place that it had on the game beforehand was that you could use a taunt champion in Hydra and then extend the taunt buff or decrease the skill cooldowns of the champion that had taunt to make sure that you had taunt on yourself 100% of the time. And that would stop champions and Hydra from being devoured on your team. That was the only use case for taunt. It's not like a provoke where the enemy champion, can only use their A1 and that they have to attack you or do whatever their A1 does. A taunt, you can only target the champion on the other team that has the taunt, but you can still use any of your 3 skills. So taunt is almost useless otherwise. So yeah, when they changed Hydra to make taunt basically useless there, it's no one's really cared. But this is interesting to see this, how the taunt is going to affect his this evasion chance he's going to have. But he does have decreased attack and leech, which is cool. This one attacks one enemy, places a decreased defense, and then places a stun debuff. I'm not sure if this is after the hit happens. I would assume it is, because it will ignore 25% of the target's resistance if the attack is critical. So I would imagine the stun happens after the hit happens, but the decreased defense goes on before the hit happens. So you can do this on even champions that are like magic affinity that he hits weak into. And then he applies a debuff spread effect, and taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. I wonder if you can debuff spread stun. I would imagine you can't debuff spread crowd control, but it'd be pretty wild if you could. And then we'll ignore resistance there if the attack's critical. And then this one, if the attack is critical, increases his attack for 2 turns. So just a really, really good champion. Extremely good champion. I don't know why he's a Bannerlord, though. For my free-to-play specifically, I don't find that exciting because I have Cythalia, the only legendary on there that has been pulled is Cythalia, so she's Bannerlord, so it's kind of like, nice, I'll get a Lizard Man, and then that faction won't be as hard, but that'll still be, I guess, what it is for Faction Wars. So yeah, awesome champion here. This evade thing, this is probably the biggest thing to me. I mean, the ally attacking with his brothers is also quite wild. But this evasion effect could be like definitely new meta for the game. So that is really wild. So here we've got all of them. Really odd. Leonardo's and Shadowkin, Raphael's and Barbarians. Donatello would be the only one in Lizardmen, it would seem. And then Bannerlords for Michelangelo. April O'Neil is Sacred Order. That one was kind of obvious. And then Shredder in Shadowkin. If you've been following the leaks, this was kind of obvious that he would be Shadowkin. But yeah, I'm wondering if it says anything else here. Event Dungeon for Shredder. That makes sense. We've got some new relics. Okay, so the thing for me, right off the bat, that I haven't seen anyone else talking about it yet. I gotta buy these because I'm on the free to play. Oh, nice. Armor skill up. I'll take that. So what kind of strikes me as odd is that I haven't seen a collaboration yet with 6 champions. Monster Hunter was 5. We had Rathalos, Zenogri, Elatrion, we had the Archer, and then we had Fatalis. So 5 there. You could get Rathalos from the login. He was the login champion. Zenogri was the fusion. Elatrion, I feel like Elatrion was only in the Prism summons. That was really... That collaboration happened like just after Prism summons had been released. I don't think he was an event. I think you had to get the Prism crystals to summon for him. Fatalis was... I think he might have only been in there too. There was some... No, there was a card flip event for Fatalis, yeah. Card flip event for him. And then the Archer, there was a champion training tournament, I think, where the first place person could get the Archer. I could be wrong about Elatrion, but the only place I remember him being was the Prism Crystals. And then we had the Alice in Wonderland event, which wasn't technically a collaboration. Raid just used their own version of the Alice in Wonderland characters. They are, of course, still summonable in the game. But for that one, we had Alice as the login champion. We had the Mad Hatter as the fusion champion. We had... Cheshire Cat was in a tournament, I think. Cheshire Cat and Queen of Hearts, I believe, were both in a tournament. Maybe one was champion training and one was like a champion chase tournament where you have to summon. That might have been how that went down. I think they were both in tournaments, though. And then the Knave of Hearts was a card flip event. So that's where all those ones were. But this one with 6 of them is weird because... We there's precedent for 5. We kind of know where they're going to be. And so far we have Shredder as the boss. So we can kind of assume that Shredder is going to be in the Prism Crystals. I would not suspect there would be a tournament for him, like Champion Training or Champion Chase tournament to win him. I would imagine he's going to be Prism Crystals only. Possible that that's wrong, but there's 6 champions, so they have to get spread around somehow. You have to find different ways to get the champions. And then Donatello's the fusion. We have Mikey as the login champion. So you've got Raphael, you got Leonardo, and you have April. So one of them will be a card flip event, basically guaranteed. And then maybe another one is like another champion training or a champion chase tournament or something. And then the third one, what do you do with the last one that's left between those 3? Do you do 2 card flip events or like a card flip event and then a hero's path? I think this would be, obviously, they've never done this before, but I had this idea that I think they might actually give away 2 turtles for free in these login events. I could be totally wrong there, but I have this feeling that they're going to do 2 login legendary champions here, which would be really amazing. They said the event lasts from August 21st to November 13th, I believe, and that you could still pick up Mikey if you started before October 30th, I think it was. So that would kind of lead you to believe that there's only one, but I think there might be a second chase, like login chase, for one of the other turtles or April O'Neil. That or they have to run a card flip event and a hero's path, and people are going to be pissed off because of that, which I don't think they care too much about that. They have been a lot nicer. The last couple months, Plarium has been like way, way better in the game about making different changes. They actually did just make a change here that's effective in game now today. So I can show you guys that. This is the first time ever, first day, we just put a piece of gear on here. We can manage that, remove it, and it came off for free. So free gear removal. They said they would do it permanently, and it's already in game working and active. So I think that's awesome. The Crocad fusion was not too hard. The Orc event to get Shayak was actually pretty reasonable compared to a lot of the events they have. It was actually pretty reasonable for them. So they've been doing a lot better, like being a lot nicer with their players. I think it's obvious that's because of competition like Etheria Restart, and just other games in general. You still have Withering Waves, which I think is pretty popular. Honkai Star Rail seems to still have a very active community. Epic 7 is... They give like ML5s away like a lot, and just random 5-stars away a lot, which is going to draw a lot of people in. Like, it's just fun to summon. It's fun to get more stuff, and that's definitely not what Raid does, not even close. Now, I'm not saying they need to follow that model at all. I enjoy having a hard game, but this game has been overtuned the entire time it's been in existence. For 7 years, it's been wildly overtuned, and just totally destroys new players for the most part. It's very much made to make you want to spend money. So there's that. But again, as of late, they have actually been, I feel like, better. Like, there's been an effort on their part to do better for their community, be a little bit more transparent and upfront, make quality of life adjustments we need. So I think that's a good thing. But yeah, just a thought I had that maybe we're actually getting to login legendaries. Just throwing it out there. So is April in here yet? I don't know what affinity she is. Okay, there we are. So we have, wow, okay, arena battle speed, nice. More of this evasion there, increases accuracy, AoE, decreases turn meter of all enemies by 20%, then grants an extra turn. Has a chance to seal all buffs. Also, 75% chance of stealing 100% of target's current turn meter. Then steals buffs and turn meter, and then can place Nullify and Seal. Nullify. Champions under the Nullify debuff cannot have their skills activated, participate in ally attacks, or granted an extra turn or an instant turn, have their skill cooldowns decreased, have their shield values increased, have their destroyed HP restored, have their HP swapped by allies or by themselves, evade enemy effects or skills, have their turn meter equalized, or have their HP balanced. I don't even know what you can do to them. I don't know if you're... It looks like you can still heal them, and you can buff them. I don't know if you can do anything else. I don't know if they just completely lose their turn, like as if this is a stun. Because it says, cannot have their skills activated. So does that mean skill 1 can't be activated either? Wow. That's really wild. This Nullify skill is completely insane. I have no doubt that this is going to be on one or multiple of the new bosses they intend to bring into the game as well. This is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. Especially, I'm guessing they're going to make some of the bosses do this irresistibly too. Oh my god. That's just... Wow. Wow. That is not a nice debuff to have to deal with. And then Seal. There are two versions of Seal. Seal and Master Seal. The Seal debuff blocks effects from gear sets and masteries, except stat boosts granted by artifacts and accessories, as well as masteries that only boost stats like Blade Disciple and Flawless Execution. And then Master Seal is an enhanced version of this debuff, which additionally blocks the effects from blessings, except stat boosts. The Seal and Master Seal debuffs don't block effects that were activated before these debuffs were placed. I don't really know what you're supposed to do to fight it. I mean, just don't let April get a turn, I guess, is kind of seems to be the idea here. What is this? Can place pretty much every crowd control debuff in the game. 75% chance. Then places a perfect veil on herself. Dude, April is nasty. I thought she was going to be a healer. Like, she's kind of like a support character in the show. This is not what I thought when I saw support. April is really nasty. Okay. Barbarians, we've got Roth in here. Attack in all battles. He also joins the attack. So I'm guessing all the brothers join in on the attack whenever each different one attacks, which could be completely broken for sure. Places a berserk debuff on this champion for 1 turn. When any champion dies, there's a 20% chance of granting an extra turn when attacking under a berserk debuff placed by this champion. Okay. Triple hit, ignore defense, places a veil on unkillable on this champion. If the target is killed, if the target survives, places a berserk debuff on this champion for 2 turns instead. The debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. Attacks all enemies, ignores shield, block damage. If he is under berserk debuff placed by himself, the champion is not under berserk. The damage inflicted against enemies under shield buffs increases by 50%. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. Block revive. So he, and turn meter fill here too, which is cool. So he is probably just a pretty good attacker. I would say generally looks like a good attacking champion. Lizardmen, we've got the fusion here. HP in all battles. I love the way they did the staff here too. I think the turtles look really, really good, all of them, but I think this staff is very, very cool. This purple lightning thing they got going on. Also joins the attack. Whenever an ally is about to receive a fatal hit, this champion prevents the ally's death and keeps him alive with 1 HP. Then equalizes that ally's HP. The HP level of that ally will be brought up to the average level of the team. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. Removes all debuffs from all allies, places a continuous heal and strengthen, and then fills turn meter on a 3-turn cooldown. Very nice. This one, also 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, decreases cooldown of all ally skills except this champion's by 2 turns. This skill's cooldown cannot be decreased by other cooldown decreasing effects. Places a 30% speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. So this is absolutely nasty. And then every time that he attacks with this A1, he's healing all of his allies by 5%, and then he can activate 1 continuous heal buff on all allies. I was wondering about this skill, specifically, if it was going to be just 1 continuous heal on 1 ally or all of them. Not that that probably makes the biggest deal in the world, but yeah, very nice. Just an incredible kid here. Really, really strong support. So we went through Mikey, April, Ruff, Donatello. So then the other 2 are in Shadowkin. I thought they were Leonardo. Oh, okay, they're both Void. Okay. Interesting. 2 Void legendaries. Okay, I didn't realize that 2 were Void. So I said earlier there would be maybe 2 champion chases. I wonder... That's still possible. I can see them definitely playing games because there's 2 Voids, though. So we'll see. But yeah. Increases defense in all battles. This dude is not a defensive. I don't know why they made him the defensive champion. But, alright. Places a stone skin buff on this champion for 1 turn each time this champion's HP falls below 50%. Occurs once per skill. Attacks with his brothers. Attacks all enemies. The damage inflicted of this skill increases by 5% for each buff on all. Oh, wow. Oh. Okay. That's different. We have a TMNT Unity champion. That is... Well, you can expect Leonardo in your Prism Crystal summons. Don't worry about that. It's, he'll be there. He'll be there. The damage inflicted by this skill increases, yeah, for each buff on everyone. There's no cap either, which I find interesting. So, theoretically, if you brought him into Hydra and every champion on your team had 10 full buffs and you've got 10 champions, or yeah, 6 champions, I mean, that's 5% for each buff would be 50% just for himself. So then it's 300%, like the most of this could go up in Hydra is 300% increase in damage. Which is, I would imagine that would blow the heads clean off, but we'll see. And then removes all buffs from all enemies if its attack kills an enemy. Will ignore 15% of each target's defense per each turtle on the team. Increases the damage dealt by the skill in proportion into the champion's missing HP. Activates this skill whenever an ally drops below 50% HP. Places an increased defense and an ally protection out there. Puts unkillable and counterattack on himself. When counterattacking, this attack will be repeated against a random enemy. Ignores target's defense for each buff on this champion. If he's got 5 buffs, it's 15%. I love the names too, like New York Slice and Shelia and so on. But this is really wild to me that it's a Turtle Unity champion. That's pretty crazy. Whoops. All right. And then Shredder here is our last guy. LIHP, he's an HP-based champion. Decreases all incoming damage by 30%. This champion is split among... This damage is split among all allies except this champion. So he's an HP-based champion. He's got great HP. 23,000 HP is fantastic. And he's throwing damage onto his teammates. Whenever this champion loses 20% of their max HP in one attack, is a 100% chance to evade the next attack. Okay, can do some True Fears. Attacks all enemies. This effect, okay, steals all buffs from a single target enemy. This effect cannot be resisted if the champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil. Fills the champion's turn meter by 15% for each stolen buff. Ignores defense as well as shield to block damage buffs if this champion is under Veil. AoE Leech destroys enemies' defense. This is a really wild collaboration. I don't think there's anything else in the game that does this. Destroys enemies' defense. I mean, there's the blessing, cruelty. The cruelty blessing can do this. But I didn't think there was any champion with a skill in this game that did this themselves. I thought it was only the cruelty blessing. So I think this is brand new for champions. So another AoE attack, double hitter, triple hitter on the A1. Second and third hits ignore 5% and then 10% of the target's defense. And they get more crit damage as well. Alright, well, that is really wild. This event is pretty wild. We're going to take a look at the fusion calendar real quick before we end the video. But these champions look out of this world. So, wow. So let's pop this there. I try to make this look nice. I'm going to move my face here, I think. Over here. Alright. Let's see if I can make this, format this so this looks nice for you guys here. Yeah, I think think that looks fine. All right. So we are. Oh, maybe I'll have to go full screen so it's better resolution here. All right. So hopefully that's showing up better on the recording software now. Ice Golem tournament, 5 points. Classic Arena Dragon tournament. So it looks like pretty normal fusion stuff. We have Ice Golem and Dragon tournament. Not overlapping with the first Dungeon Divers. The first Dungeon Divers is completely Ice Golem, nothing else. That is a little unfortunate. The second Dungeon Divers does not overlap with anything other than dragons. The third one overlaps with Fire Knight and Spider. So this is not a friendly fusion at all. Like literally, not at all. Normally you have it where the first 2 tournaments, whatever it is, we have Ice Golem and Dragon here. Generally speaking, those fall under the first Dungeon Divers, and then the second 2, usually you can get into the third. But this time, the fact that it's 1 per 2 Dungeon Diver tournaments, and then there's only 2 hitting in the third one, is rough. And then the Summoning Rush as well. The Summoning Rush is 15. The Champion Chase Tournament is 15. You can get 20 extra if you win these tournaments. So 10, I'm guessing it's 10 for first place, 5 for second place in both of these. Or maybe it's just the 10 for first place. Usually it's like the 10 for first place and then 5 for second place, but we'll see when they open up. But yeah, so this, at first glance, I thought it was going to be pretty friendly, but this definitely doesn't look like that way to me. This looks like a harder fusion plan. It is fragments, which is super nice, so you don't have to fuse anything together, ascend stuff, level stuff up. Fragments are definitely the nicest fusion to do. But based on this, you can't skip an entire Summoning Rush or an entire Champion Chase tournament. You have to at least get the first 5 points, first 5 fragments here, or the first 5 fragments here, and then you can skip one of them has to be fully completed, because we're just going to take out these leaderboard ones, like assuming you're not winning any of these, you have 110 available. You'd have to finish one event fully and then try to get the first 5 from another one, and then you could skip 10 in one of these, and then you have to complete everything else, is kind of the idea, which is kind of harder. It's basically what a normal fusion has been for a long time. So I guess we aren't keeping up with kind of being nicer to the players here, but that's all right, I guess. All right, so my free-to-play account here, pretty much guaranteed not going for the fusion. That wasn't very likely anyway. They don't have any shards on here. But yeah, kind of too bad. Would have been super nice to have picked him up, but that's all right. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys. If you guys have any thoughts on them that you think that I glanced over something or missed something, let me know in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see everybody in the next video.